Hello and welcome to the Patches In podcast. My name is Dom. I'm here with Hamish.
Hi everyone.
And I'm here with Hugh.
Hello everyone. That was very softly spoken by Dom.
Yeah, it's because now I'm wearing the headsets because we're up at my place to do this edition of patch notes for Resident Evil Apocalypse.
I hope that now that Dom has the headphones on, he'll realise how fucking loud he is when he laughs.
Yeah, that's I think that's one of the best reasons maybe to have this on, because see, setting this up, it's been a while since I've had to set up with headphones, and I'm like, oh, actually, no, I'm really bad when I laugh, so I'm going to be like, and I've got one of those like gaming chairs that I can fling myself back, so you could barely hear me, but you could probably still hear me laugh.
Cackle. I let out a breath because as soon as you said I've got the headphones on, I was about to shout into the mic and then realised that other people would have to deal with that as well.
Yeah. I mean, like, I already dealt with like Hamish like taking out the cable before. I was like, whoops, actually. So, Hugh.
Yes, Tom.
How would you sum up your feeling of this movie, like as a whole?
Frustrated. My eyes kind of hurt. My ears definitely hurt. I know, like, I could have made a better film. I don't think they had a script for this.
Well, Paul W.S. Anderson actually was planning on directing this one as well, but this went to somebody else to do the directing. And I think he was just like caught up doing another movie. I can't remember exactly what movie it was.
We could have done research on this.
We could have done research.
I remember hearing that the guy that did direct this, he didn't direct anything else, any like other movie for another like 17 years or something like that.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Sorry. Yeah, because what he did, he did like a lot of sound production and stuff. He was always like assistant to director. He never actually had a opportunity to direct, and yeah, it was so bad that he never went back into doing directing.
He did sound direction?
Yeah, I think it was like sound direction.
Sorry, I swore, but like some of the sounds in these films was hilarious. Like, see the fighting?
Yeah.
You know how in comedy films where like if you're showing off karate, it's like
yeah.
You all get those noises, right?
Yeah.
That's all this film is.
Because
like, it cuts. It's like the cuttiest film of all time.
You wouldn't think that someone like that's his name there, Alexander Witt.
Alexander what?
So he was always like
that's that Alexander Witt. That just doxed you.
That's quite good. So it's like he was always second unit director. So he was always like behind. I think that's in that aspect. He's not assistant director. He's behind the assistant director.
All right,
so he's like third in charge. So he's like, but he's been filming movies like Speed, X-Files. And then Gladiator, so he's been Remember the Titans. He did quite a lot of like second unit stuff. So you're like, oh, he must have an idea how to film a movie. And then
apparently not.
No, because I don't think, I'm just double checking to see if he had anything. Yeah, that's it. Like, it's all very much like one movie, and he was kind of given the role to, and they kind of botched it. And yeah, this movie still made money. So
yeah, I remember this being the one I saw first, actually.
Ah, right.
Because I think I got this in DVD.
You must have had no fucking idea what was going on. I mean,
dude, like, mate, I still don't have any idea what's going on.
That's what I was going to say. Like, even we watched the first one, and the second one is still just a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Hamish, did you not see the lovely summary of the first film in the first 5 to 10 minutes of this film?
Very quick, wee, nonsensical, you know.
Yeah, and then they just go, oh, let's go back in the hive, and then like they turn up with 2 guys, or 3 or 4 guys with a machine gun, and I'm thinking like, you need, like, surely you need more than that, and then surely like, lock the door behind you so they can't get out. And I was thinking, like, I actually just wrote, I also wrote weird arm phone because they had like a mad PDA on their arm to open the doors, and then why not more guns?
Why not?
Or lights? Or better doors.
Yeah. Or like come in with a game plan. They kind of went in there like with their dicks in their hand going like, oh, how are we going to actually solve this? And then when oh wait, there's zombies here, and you're like, well, you should have fucking known that.
That's why you're there.
That's why you're there.
You know that there's zombies there, you know.
What we'll do is we'll not bring any lights with us so they can sneak up on us.
They're sneaky zombies.
And like the first film was nonsensical. This film starts nonsensical, which is fine. I don't need sense in my Resident Evil films. But then, like, the guy for Chernobyl turns up. Like, he's actually just not the guy. He's Jared Harris, I think his name is. He's Richard Harris's son.
You know, this was out before Chernobyl, so.
But how weird is it? He's in like those 2 kind of disaster films. Well, no, Chernobyl wasn't a film, but miniseries.
Yeah.
Right. One is like obviously about a real event. It's like well better written and die. But like
The other one's Chernobyl.
I think he's a good actor, but in this he was awful. I thought
Yeah,
he was just
came along
terrible. But
or maybe he just read it and was like, yeah, there's no point in even trying, really.
Yeah.
did any of you guys see the size of his glasses?
Yeah, very small, weren't they?
They were like tiny. What is he looking at through those glasses? Like
Yeah.
nothing, pretty much.
They're like just for his irises, like
Yeah.
or his pupils, even like just tiny wee ones. It's
Yeah.
a strange design choice.
Right, we're going to spoil the film, right?
Okay, so like, there's a few things.
I was about to spoil the film.
Go spoil it and go.
There's zombies.
He creates the T-virus to save his daughter.
Yeah.
Because she's
Who's-
injected with it.
Yeah, she's got like a degenerative disease, and this
Yeah.
is to help her. And I was like,
She's a degenerate.
probably.
Triple H and Shawn Michaels are there.
Right, what were you going to say? Sorry.
I was going to say, like, so a lot of the actors on set actually kind of had a bit of sway with, like, the direction the movie was going, because they were like, we need to have, like, characters that make sense. So Jill Valentine, like, the lassie that played her, was dressed up like Jill from Resident Evil 3,
Yeah.
Nemesis. And what they did, I don't know if you noticed right at the start of the movie, they were like Raccoon City in a heat wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, that makes sense. That's why Jill's wearing that. But
Yeah.
when they did the filming, this is one of the fact videos that me and Angie watched after it. Angie's like, oh, this is great. He'll give you wee bits. They mentioned that they shot in Vancouver, Canada, in the middle of winter.
freezing.
So they were both like her and Alice. Like,
Jovovich,
yeah,
yeah.
they were just like freezing.
You know,
But
that's
then
not-
that's commitment to the bit. They're like, no, if we're not wearing these costumes, and people are like, oh, it's not a real fucking Resi movie.
That's one of the things that, sorry, Hamish, that's one of the things I remember from the DVD. Like, I watched the extras, obviously, because I was a big Jill Valentine fan.
Oh yeah,
The
Yeah.
character, mate. The character. It's all the
Yeah.
character.
Mhm.
Is Sienna Gilroy?
Yeah.
Guillory? Something like that. Don't know.
She's
I
it's always Jill Valentine to me.
I know. I remember her saying, like, in like interviews, like, "Oh, I played the game, and I looked at how, like, if you leave her, like, not control her for a wee bit, she does like a wee
wee
like,
stance.
animation where
Yeah.
she like looks impatient, and she
Yeah.
copied that to put in the film. That was pretty cool.
You
But like,
do see that in one of the scenes where she's walking with the handgun down, like Jill would, as well.
She did say she bought a PS1 and the game to play it, which, you know, dedication is
Yeah.
impressive. And there's also someone else that, like, their heart, and when they're hurt, they're like holding, they've got like their arm across the stomach, like you do when you're on like caution health and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think the costumes were just purely fan service.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
Hamish, that was the best part of this film for me.
But I heard it was Mila Jovovich's idea. Like, why don't we just say it was a heat wave, and that explains why
Yeah.
we're wearing skimpy clothes.
And she had all the say in this film.
Oh yeah.
All of, like, no one had a cool scene in this. Even Jill, I think a few times in this film I noticed that Jill's character was kind of relegated to like looking kind of
Sheepish.
incompetent compared to like Mila Jovovich's Alice. Like, there was a bit later on where like they're trying to like light gas with something, and she throws matches, and Jill Valentine throws matches, and it doesn't work. And then it goes outside, and Mila Jovovich is like smoking, and then throws the cigarette in. And I was like, did they, like, she's never smoked in any other film?
Yeah.
Did they just make her smoke for this one scene
I think so. I don't think
just
it's-
to light that?
I think so.
Yeah, well, I mean, as an actress, she did smoke. She was trying to quit, but I don't think the character ever smoked.
Yeah, I don't ever
You could
remember.
have just had Jill do the cool bit, but it was like, no. Mila, Alice is the star of this film.
Yeah, and I mean, they're not obviously the exact same character, but they're similar enough.
Yeah.
And
Do you think the
maybe
Jill
a bit too
Valentine
much.
character was the only one that played the games?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know, to be honest.
Did the writer play the games?
No, the writer did.
I know,
He did. It was the
maybe
direction
awful.
of it. Like I can only describe this movie visually watching it as like a headache.
Yeah.
Mm.
And again, where the first movie felt like everything went too fast and then the pacing was all over the place, this movie had way too many close-ups. It was constantly like up someone's hole or just looking directly in their face.
Yeah.
And I know this is going to sound so stupid when I say it, and I'm prepared to hear to be
it's
reacted.
normal, mate. It's normal.
They had way too many zombies in shots.
Yeah.
It kind of like, not like World War Z where they're like climbing over each other and stuff.
Mm.
Like, it seemed like it was too busy and they couldn't really focus, so the jump cuts were there to like be impactful. There was only one scene that I liked with the zombies, which was when the stars were like shooting the zombies, but it was basically a shot for shot remake of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis opening, where they had to zoom in onto the police helmet with the zombie like screaming at it. I even went, oh, that's from Resi 3. And then when we watched that clip thing, it was like, oh yeah, that's from Resi 3. I'm like, yes, nice.
Mate, I felt like, see every scene with the zombies or Nemesis is in this, they had this weird effect, like it was almost like a wee bit of a fast forward with distortion, and then it was a Dutch angle as well, it was like the camera was slightly off to the side every time there was zombies on. So I don't know if they were unhappy with the direction the zombies were taking, or they were like they looked too slow, or they weren't threatening, but like there was all these weird effects with the zombies, and then the zombies were like relegated to being like, I know zombies are dumb, but these zombies were especially shit. I thought, like, there was a bit where a woman was running up
the stairs,
right, and she gets to a door, and the zombies get her, but they all are just grabbing at her. Like there's like fucking 30 zombies, and they're just grabbing, and she manages to put the code in and run out the door.
Yeah,
but she got bit. But like these zombies are like grabbing at her for like 5, 7, 8, 9 seconds. Like I'm like, okay,
why are they not biting?
Yeah, like. If you wanted to have suspense, you know, they almost get to her.
Yeah.
Well, they got to her and she got away.
And nothing still happened, yeah. I mean, as far as like the actual kind of walking and stuff like that, I was on all the extras, they did go to like a zombie boot camp. And there was like 2 kind of golden rules, and one of them was no like shambling, no like dragging your feet. And the other one was no outstretched arms. Because that's like just too much of a trope.
Yeah,
they did say
you still do see it though.
Yeah,
like,
and
even though that was what they were told.
And they did say that they wanted people that were dancers as well to do it, so they could have like the looseness of like a zombie. Which I was like, okay, I get to see that, but that scene, like when he gets up to the top of the skyscraper and they're like, we need to go down and rescue him, and he jumping out a helicopter shooting 2 handgun pistols. I was like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's not how you can't, like, physically, obviously it's a film, you can't do it, but like I have one note for that, and it's alright, Tom Cruise, like, because they pretty much just stole that whole scene from fucking like every Mission Impossible film, but especially the bit where like he just lands
at the end,
and that guy Dom played
Carlos.
Well, aye, and someone in The Mummy. The Mummy 2.
Oh, was he the...
Do you know who was in The Mummy 2, Dom?
Brendan Fraser.
And the Scorpion. I'm going to get it. Scorpion King.
all right.
So all comes back.
Yep, it's all tied up.
Oh, well, that's it. We're done.
So really, this has all just been one long film series of these guys' films.
Do you not think that all the action scenes that included like the shooting, like that bit you were talking about that copied Resident Evil 3, there was just so much going on incoherently that you just gave up trying to keep up with it.
Yeah.
That's another kind of complaint that Mila Jovovich had, is she felt it was just too much action packed into it, and the story got left by the wayside. Yeah, it was all just, oh, this will be a cool set piece of shoot more zombies, that equals more, you know, fun.
So that raises the stakes higher though. It's like a bit like, you know, now you've set that bar, that expectation, how are you going to be better than that? You've already had her Alice come through a church window on a motorbike that revved up a liquor to that she shot, like, and exploded the motorbike. I remember that scene's amazing. That scene deserves its own movie. Like, who came up with like the nonsensical gravity? Like, Alice is that super powerful that she can, you know, fuck with gravity. I love it. She had to
backflip off the bike. There's no easier way to get off a bike.
No, you can't put down the leg and get off, you know, the bike sensibly and put it down and make sure that, you know, the engine's turned off.
It's because she knows, you know, Jill Valentine was in there, and you know how competitive women are.
Yeah, she had to show off.
Sorry, while we're talking about Jill Valentine, like when you first see her and it's in the police precinct.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's loads of like zombies in there, but they obviously don't realise that they're actually zombies because they're like handcuffed to people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they start going, and she bursts out and she shoots a few of them. And all the chief does is shout like, Valentine. I was like, really, that's your reaction to, like, you know, someone shooting people in the head? Like,
well, she has a police officer, so
yeah, and it is America, isn't it? So yeah.
That was super comical, that bit, because like that's in zombie films, zombies are considered like super dangerous. There's like zombies all over that office, and like they're all like playing it up for yucks, like, oh, I'm arresting a zombie. Oh,
look, there's a hooker zombie. It's trying to catch
this guy. There's many hooker zombies in this.
There's very many.
Mike Epps is in this, comedian Mike Epps. He is actually my favourite character because he's the only one that played the film up to be as ridiculous as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a laugh, and I'm sure he's in a lot of the newer ones as well. See, like the later one series,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's like a returning character.
That was meant to be Snoop Dogg.
Was it actually?
Yeah, genuinely.
Yeah.
No wonder he didn't want to do it. Like,
And I think it was a
Contract. It was a thing. It was that he couldn't do
I
it.
think it's personal issues, so he never really said. But
I'm scared of zombies, yo.
Oh hell no, man!
right, there's a fucking point of this film, right? And I almost lost
No,
it.
there's no point in this film.
No, I almost lost it, mate. Do you remember the bit where they get out of the church and they're walking through the graveyard?
Right. Okay. Right. I think you might have the same issue I had with it. But continue.
The zombies come up from in the graves, and I'm thinking, how?
Yes.
And they're like fully clothed.
Yeah, and like in the first film, they say there needs to be like residual neural
Blood.
activity or something
Yeah.
like that in the brain, which would have been well gone in corpses.
Yeah.
Not only do these zombies come out of nowhere, right? Literally out of nowhere. Like they're not decomposed bodies. They're all fully composed,
Yeah.
fully dressed.
Yep.
Like, and they come out, but then all of the main cast at that point
Mm-hmm.
beat them all.
Yep.
Hand to hand combat,
Yes.
Yeah.
like snapping necks, and I'm like, where's the power in this? Like if you can beat these zombies hand to hand, there's no like
Threat.
stakes anywhere else.
Yeah,
It's like you dealt with like free liquors in a church. Well, sorry, Alice dealt with free liquors in a church,
Only her.
and like you managed to somehow find ammo while in between the church and the graveyard, which is not very much. Like, that's not a big distance. Usually, when you're near a church, there's a graveyard nearby. So you somehow manage to get your ammo filled up to then run into a graveyard filled with zombies, and then I kind of questioned that as well. And I don't remember them ever in any Resident Evil game have zombies come up from graves.
yeah.
No,
I might be wrong. It might be like
But how would a dead body get infected by a T-virus if it's in a coffin under the ground?
I think there was some kind of half-hearted explanation. I think it was in the DVD commentary.
Oh, that's where I get all my explanations.
Yeah. Something to do with I honestly can't remember, but basically the soil gets
oh yeah, the worms.
The
and stuff.
soil
Yeah,
is
so-
mutating.
something gets into the soil basically.
The soil turns to venom.
Even then, it still specifically goes against the first film, and they said it'll only happen to.
All those bodies were recently buried.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. But even that's a stretch for like disbelief. You go, okay,
Because it was grass, you don't just immediately get grass over a newly dug grave.
yeah.
And
Takes
zombies are weak. You know what I mean? They don't
How
do
are they
much.
punching it out of coffins?
Yeah.
No.
And yeah, you're right. See about the fights, like they were just breaking necks left, right, and centre.
Aye. Like,
It's like,
right.
hey, it was like,
They were touching the zombies to break their necks. That's like the thing that can't happen in any zombie film. You can't touch the zombie. Once the zombie's at you, you're done.
yeah.
But
That's the whole suspense and the.
You're getting away from them. You shouldn't be like trying to fucking MMA them, throwing fucking flips and shit.
But that wasn't even the most annoying fight scene. I thought it was when Alice first sees Nemesis.
On the
Alice,
bridge.
who's meant to be like a badass and know what she's doing. At this point she remembers all of her skills and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's spent a whole movie, or most of a movie in the last one and some of this one shooting zombies in the head and stuff like that. Sees Nemesis, exposed head, shoots him in the chest like 20 times,
Yeah.
and then gets surprised when nothing happens. Like,
yeah,
why you shoot him in the chest?
because you can't damage the really shit mask.
I know, but just
Yeah, I
in the
know.
film, you know what I mean?
Like you'd think they'd go straight for the head. Where like
Yeah.
also, she just goes, "Oh, he's over there." And see when you first see Nemesis, right, and he finds the stars,
yeah.
and he just like murders all these stars. Like that was one of the worst scenes I've ever seen, right? Because those stars didn't show how badass they were, and then get beat down by like this crazy monster.
Yeah.
You just saw this gun. The gun had a number on it. He shot. You see the shots, and then just next scene, everyone's lying on the floor dead, and you're like, "You're not showing me anything here. You're just like, oh, you're meant to know stars are really good.
Yeah.
You're not really showing me like." And it wasn't like he beat the stars because he was better. He beat the stars because he shot them.
You've got a magic gun that'll
Aye.
aim at the correct people.
And none of these like super tactical guys thought about getting behind any cover or
Aye,
whatever.
running
Yeah.
away or anything like that.
Yeah, very much like against like what Nemesis is. Nemesis is against stars, which is true, but Nemesis
said
never had a minigun. Nemesis had the rocket launcher.
Yeah, he
But he
did.
never had the minigun, And yeah, it kind of defeats, like, you know, the purpose of Nemesis. But he's like, he must be controlled. Let them fight. It was like a kaiju between Alice and Nemesis, really. It was like, let them fight.
Yeah. Well, we'll get on to that last scene a wee bit.
During the actual, the first encounter for it, it was not very good either. Alice, like, you know, she's a medium threat.
Yeah.
She's a medium. She's like, oh, you need to fight her for some reason. Not quite now. Don't release your full potential. I'm like, what is this, fucking Dragon Ball? Get the fuck out of here.
Also, I think it probably is because the suit was unwieldy.
Yeah.
And it looked like shit.
I
think it was like 65 pounds or something like that.
Yeah.
It weighed. You could only wear it for like 15 minutes at a time.
They even said about, see, like when they were running through the building and stuff, when they shot off the minigun.
Oh, that was hilarious.
They shot him back. Like how powerful the prop was that actually the actor inside the suit got hit back.
Yeah.
And I remember that scene, like, because that was like Alice running away from him. Like, I thought that was a pretty good scene, running away from Nemesis, knowing you can't actually beat him. That's the point. Nemesis is
build up a bit of mystique of like, well, if Alice is a badass and she's running away, then this guy must be dangerous.
It's got to be.
I've wrote here, like, go back a wee bit to the stars. Do you know when Mike Epps gets to that bit, right? And he just like walks in, like, they're not like looking at the, like, I know there's a guy on the top, the sniper,
rifle,
but like the doors are just like open, and he walks in. There's like 12 of them with guns, and I'm like, what he's doing?
Yeah, you just seen the sniper guy like let him go through, so you know it's him. He's all right to come through, and yet they all pull their gun on him, and it's just like, I'm like, is it because he's black? Is that why?
That's probably it, mate.
A black guy walking into a police station. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
I got my own pieces. I love that bit.
Or the topical one, you know, ringing the wrong doorbell.
Oh.
But I thought it was funny when you first see Mike Epps and then he's driving along and then there's like the two stripper zombies. It's like, that's just pure gratuitously put in there so that you can see some zombie boobies, you know what I mean?
Mike Epps is all of us in this apocalypse, I've wrote. After that, I was like, that's what would happen to you, Hamish. 100%. Hamish, how did you get caught in the zombie apocalypse? Well, there was some hot zombies, right?
What do they call that? Rubbernecking? You're too busy rubbernecking and you just hit your car into a pole. God damn.
The film was actually meant to be quite a bit more than that. Like, there was meant to be a scene where Jill Valentine is wrestling with zombies and gets her top ripped off and her breasts exposed.
Really? That would have made this film about 4 or 5 times better.
They obviously didn't do that. I'm sure you can find it online somewhere. Someone sketched that.
The end of the first fight between Alice and Nemesis, right?
Yeah.
Hilarious. He shoots the rocket down and the bin saves her. Fantastic.
It's very, very much like a case of like, why? But I mean, like, the whole plot of the movie is like, rescue my wee girl, I'll get you a helicopter so you can get to Raccoon City, because Raccoon City, we're going to nuke it, basically. So this is kind of like, where would she go? Oh, she's a smart girl, she'll go back to school and hide away. And it's like,
idiot girl.
Yeah.
Like, what kid would ever be like, oh shit's going down, better go to school?
Also, fucking Umbrella get really good at building fucking walls around the city, man. Why did you build a fucking good wall around the bit where the zombies were?
Yeah,
like a lot of these times I was just like, this is maybe a really super clever like organisation. Well, obviously they're not, because they released the zombie virus, but like, so many steps, so many processes,
the best of us, mate.
So many health and safety processes, Hamish, they could have put in place.
Not up to OSHA standards.
Definitely not.
Well, the school scene was like the most spookiest scene. Like, they had a wee bit in the church where Joe was sort of investigating and seeing the priest with his, I'm sure that was his sister.
Yeah,
he was basically feeding. Because I don't know, like, because they're usually called nun sisters, so I'm like, I don't know. Maybe But the school was the only bit
when
like,
someone calls a black person their brother, and it's like,
yeah,
by blood, or are you just trying to be cool? Like,
so, like, Jill did silly things in this movie, like being a news reporter and going like, yeah, let's split up, and it's like, don't split up. You're going to give a gun to an unarmed civilian who's a news reporter, who's been popping pills and stuff. Like,
literally says, I've never shot a gun before.
Here's a gun.
And then he's like, I'll come with you. And she's like, nah, you go that way, you go that way.
That's so cold. She knew she was going, like, right, see that bit where she died? That was fucking like probably the worst death in the film.
Yeah,
because like she was literally like innocent. Like, like she was armed, but like she didn't have to die.
No,
and it was quite gratuitous the way, like, it was slow happening, and then like it was filmed, and then And then Jill comes in and gets the other girl, picks up the camera, and like acts as though that person was never with them.
Yeah.
Like, and like, how are you? Like, oh, you alright? You came back to school, and you're like, that person, like, you sent to her death. Like, you literally
quite cold.
Aye, you're looking for one person, stick together, and go back, like, and so you can all fight this, like,
swarm of children.
Massive threat. Yeah.
It's always like weird fucking kids, man.
Yeah.
Like, and also you saw the bit that said K9 unit outside. It was like,
oh yeah, and
I wonder what's going to be in here.
Yeah, and you can see like all the cages ripped apart, and you're like, oh man, I can't believe they put those,
bacon dogs
back in this movie.
Yeah, like the first scene is it eating something on the floor, and I'm like, it's just eating its own like costume in it, like that's it. But you met Nikolai, who's the guy that's in the Mummy's friend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not naming these actors, like, but he's like, he saved like Jill Valentine at one point. He's like, I'll take on these dogs. 2 seconds later, eaten by the dogs.
Yeah, like, big sort of like Umbrella Corporation, mercenary. No, I get beaten by 2 dogs. You're like, oh, that's great. But then like they're like, oh, you're from Umbrella. It's like, ex-Umbrella, they left us to die, and you're like, okay.
And then like the dog jumps on him, and he's like, don't worry, I've got this, you go.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even leave the room, right? And then another dog comes in, and he's like, oh shit, and dies. And Jill is like the fucking worst, by the way. She just goes, oh well.
So she's nonchalant.
She's the ice queen. She's like that lassie from Frozen. Is her
Elsa?
Yes,
I knew you'd know that.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Frozen girl.
Children are the worst. No one really cared about that
Is
reporter.
that a general note or just?
Yeah, pretty much. Sorry, Nikolai, you're dead.
I liked him as well.
Nikolai was the guy. There was a lot of weird accents in this film.
What about the Scottish priest guy? The guy who was in like Dog Soldiers and
went right away.
Train Spotting as well.
Yeah. He's like, they're going to kill us all. I'm like, what's the Scottish guy did? And
maybe he wasn't, because you only watched the regular one, but
he was one of the guys.
He's making this.
No, genuinely.
Yeah,
he was a bit like later on, and someone's like, "Oh, the Irish priest," and then I can't remember if it's Jill goes, "He was Scottish."
He was Scottish, yeah.
And I was just like, "This is what?" Like,
it was the liquor. The liquor ended up getting him. Yeah.
That is completely.
Okay, it's like just as they get into the church, basically.
Yeah.
All right, because there's a guy in the church in my version.
The older guy that's got his sister.
No, there was a different type of guy.
No, it's like a famous Scottish actor. I can't remember his name, but
the guy that was hiding in the church.
Yeah,
I thought you meant he was like a soldier as well.
No.
Oh, the guy that's hiding in the church, he was definitely there. But I did recognise. Is that Kevin McKidd?
I don't know.
I say it is.
I don't know. I'll look it up in a wee bit. But that guy died for. There was a lot of characters in this that were just like in it for no reason.
No,
they served no real plot. They were just there. You got introduced to them. They died. I was like, I'm not a fan of any of these characters. I like Jill.
But do you think that was maybe a conscious decision? Like, keep people guessing, like anyone's expendable? Like, most films you would get introduced to a character and they would do something.
Yeah.
But I think it was bad writing.
Yeah, it's Kevin McKidd, by the way.
Was it Kevin McKidd?
There you go.
Fucking that's Soap McTavish, mate. I knew I fucking recognised. That's a really shit. Like,
it's a wee cameo.
For him. Like,
I mean,
like
like,
cameo.
Do you know?
He'd have been the most famous actor in that film.
There was other cameos, like the guitarist from Evanescence was in, as a cameo as well.
The drummer as well.
Yeah,
was as well.
They're like, well, hey, and you're like,
I was waiting to hear some Evanescence music in it, thinking that's
wake
why,
me up.
But then there was no like. Yeah, they should have played that with the over the graveyard scene when all the zombies are going, wake me up.
Oh, that would have been amazing. Or play like Going Under. There we go. Oh, there we go. We just like rewrote this movie and made it great with just 2 Evanescence songs.
I was actually thinking the music in this was non-existent as well.
Yeah, like again, it's the same kind of like the first movie, like the soundtrack. You're like, why did we think the soundtrack was so good? And then it's like there's one Slipknot song. There's at least 2 songs in this with like Slipknot and Killswitch.
Yeah, not right until the very end though. Like, what else have I got written down here? Silly doggy, doggy bed. Lol, did they make her smoke just to show off? Yes, they did.
They did also say that, like, I don't know if Hamish you've seen that with the director's cut there as well. Like, Alice was supposedly with the fire blanket. It was supposed to be the American flag to protect them, but they're like, actually, that might be a bit too much for folk. A bit like,
Yes.
see, when Spider-Man kept flying by the American flag in all his movies, the Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi movies.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, we get it, he's American, let's go.
Americans love their fucking flag, don't they? I don't know why, it's ugly as shit.
Stop ragging on the Americans.
I actually use it in the house as like toilet paper and stuff like that.
Yeah, you wipe your ass with the American flag.
Aye. Upside down as well. Make
I
it even
mean,
worse.
they use it wrong. Like, you're not meant to put it on any bit of clothing or anything like that. It's not meant to be used as that kind of symbol. It's meant to just be a flag.
It's supposed to be placed in other countries, is that right, Hamish?
Aye. That's how you
On the
conquer
moon
things,
and-
Hamish.
yeah.
As a British guy, like this is how we got culture.
We stole it from anyone else.
Aye, we were like, God, man, I'm sick of having no culture.
All we got is
Let's go
tea.
to other places. Anyway, sorry. I wrote a lot of ass pulls in this. And there's a wee bit of flirting going on. There was like one scene of flirting between Alice and the guy from The Mummy.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
There was like in the car and they had this wee like look at each other and I was like, don't fucking pull this now. We're like 3/4 through this film and they've shown no sexual interest in each other whatsoever, and then
What-
they're just like, look at you, look
Yeah.
at me, we're both good looking.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty much what they said.
What do you mean by ass pull, by the way? I don't even know that.
So many times people just know things or turn up exactly like, I know it's
Oh, like you know, Alice with the cigarette and stuff, like when
Alice
it's
with
just
cigarette.
convenient.
Alice driving through the window instead of going through a door. How did she know the liquors were in there? How did she know that Jill Valentine and that were in there?
She had like a predator vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of things that just
Just the umbrella
happened.
eyes that she's got.
Umbrella eyes, yeah.
Yeah, the umbrella eyes.
Umbrella eyes.
The rolling around at the speed of sound. It's sort of like Alice was running down that building,
Oh my
and I
god.
was like rolling around. At
Yeah.
the speed. That's the fucking
From Sonic Adventure 2.
Mate, that
yeah.
was comical. The way they filmed that, it was in slow motion in her face, and the way she was going, I was like, "This is awful looking." They should have sped it up a little bit. It would have
Yeah.
made it look a bit more like athletic, but like
the
slowed it
one
down.
time they could have sped it up and they didn't bother.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of the guys, I think they watched. Was Equilibrium it before or after this?
Before it.
Same
Before
thing.
I think it was before it.
All of the bad guys looked exactly like the bad guys for Equilibrium. Like they all had that motorbike helmet and black. They all look like motorbikers.
Do you know, as well as the zombies having, you know, fragile necks, these guys also had fragile necks.
Oh.
They're an elite force to protect everything.
Do you think? Do you think that's got to do with the
Insurance?
rating? The rating for the film. There was not a lot of blood in this one. There was a little bit of blood.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot of neck breaking, but not a lot of blood.
Shit ton of neck breaking in a zombie film. That's not exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah,
She-
but they say that in the first one as well. Like, the way to defeat them is
In the head.
either a head or spinal injury. So that's a quick spinal injury.
I'd put your hands near the zombie's mouth.
Yeah, but
What? Now, if you're behind them, you go.
Not if they're really bad zombies as well. Like, oh, what am I doing? I'm meant to bite, innit? Not just grab.
Not if the script doesn't say that you're dead yet.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
aye.
Not if you're not Michelle Rodriguez in the first one. Every 4 minutes.
Ah!
She must have got bad luck. The zombies were just like just spamming her.
They just had a taste for her. They're just, I wish I'd eat more of her. Or just like, you know, just nibble on her. Just let her run about.
They obviously played the first movie on hard mode and they were like, these zombies bite too much, so they played the second one on easy.
Just grab. I've really had a lot of weird Alice action because there was a lot of like just Alice killing guys.
Mm-hmm.
With I was like, right, that's enough. Nah, like that's I get the picture, right? Right, no, that's it.
You know, like to see strong, powerful women here.
Yeah, that's his problem.
Not for like that
You
long.
sexist?
No, but like, mate, it was the same scene over and over again. A guy in a black motorcycle helmet with leathers on, getting his neck broke. I'm like, awesome. And the guy,
Because when it's John Wick killing people one after
He-
another, you don't mind.
but he does it in lovely, like, creative ways. Have you ever seen him kill that guy with a book? That's amazing. He does it like, mate.
She's chapter 1, death.
He
Chapter 1, the end.
he innovates, Hamish. He doesn't go. Yeah, he goes. I've shot enough people in the head. What I'll do is I'll shoot one in the knee, then like stab him in the neck, and then like he's got a bit of creativity. You know, he loves his job.
Yeah.
And he takes it seriously, Hamish.
Pretty sure he hates his job. I think that's kind of the whole point of it.
Where the fuck did he come from? Right, that guy. Right, she's in the helicopter, and she's like, start the plane. Oh, well, okay, I fucked that. Start the helicopter. She's like, why are you not starting the helicopter? And he's like, because of me. And she turns around, that guy's like right there with a gun. I was like, where the fuck did he get by everybody else to stand there?
Yeah.
Fucking Batman. That was dumb. I hate that guy as well. I think he had a German accent. I think that's why I hated him.
So to the climax, your favourite bit. I remember like going, this is the moment of the movie where I was like, I'm never watching one of these again in the cinema. Never watching one of these again in the cinema.
I love how you specified that because you know you've got to watch them all now.
Yeah. But I'm not. Again, the other ones I have seen like years ago, but I've watched them when they came out in DVD. But I said to myself, don't ever go and see a Resident Evil movie again after this fight scene.
They made like Nemesis turns up and they say, "Oh, the same project, like parallel. We put T virus into his." And I was like, okay, we're getting a cool scene. Now I know we weren't getting a cool scene because I remember this and it really disappointed me even back when I first saw it.
That's also not even really what happened though, was it? Like, he never had T-virus in him before he get scratched by the mutated liquor, did he?
Yeah, well this is Matt and I wrote, oh no, ... it's Matt? Like, I forgot who the fuck Matt was. Like,
yeah, Matt was the guy who got scratched at the end and that's how he's got the big Nemesis arm. Said, put him in the Nemesis project.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that because he was a very shite character. But like, you're meant to feel like, that they've got a connection. Like,
they did have a connection. They had that time where they mourned over his dead sister, and Alice was like, "I kind of like you, maybe."
She's really bad at flirting, and she like.
Yeah, everyone she flirts with dies. So
because hot women don't need to be good at flirting, mate.
True. It's all flirting to them.
Yeah,
but like the fight scene was awful. It was choppy. Like, you couldn't see what was going on.
Yeah, so it was too close and choppy.
Yeah,
so it was like you would it meant to be like a punch, but you would just see like a forearm and an elbow moving forward and stuff like that. It was just.
It was obviously the Nemesis suit.
It was also the fact that this intimidating guy who has a Gatling gun and a rocket launcher, decides to throw hands.
Yeah.
Like, just decides to throw hands.
I think they told him, like, don't use weapons. We want to see you fight. But like, surely, like, you show him beating her.
Yeah.
And then she comes back to win.
Do you know Nemesis has an arm that retracts, that goes out, and they can grab people and drag them in?
Yeah.
He's a tank. He's a heavy. He shouldn't be doing. He should not be doing close combat with anybody.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be, again, obviously with the suit, he can't run and stuff like that. He is supposed to be quick. Like, if you've played Resident Evil 3 Remake, like, he's really intimidating. Nemesis, because he can sprint, he can jump ahead of you, and that as well. Obviously, limitations to like what you can do as a actor in a big suit, but
they didn't even try.
Yeah, they did discuss having like tentacles and stuff like that, but they just said it would be too difficult to do with the kind of technology that they had at the time, so that's why they made the minigun thing.
They should have thought of that before they made these films.
Yeah.
It's too difficult to do with the technology we've got.
Actually, if you sit down and it's like, well, we can't really make this film properly,
so maybe we
shouldn't fuck it up instead. Yeah, it was a great idea.
I was underwhelmed massively by the fight because all it was Alice flicking her hands at him and spinning a lot, kicking him, and he fought back a wee bit. I don't think he landed much. And then like he grabbed a bit of metal, tried to hit her with it, and then she like kicked him onto the metal and stabbed him through the metal. And I was like, see, I remember being a kid and being like, this is terrible. Like, this is meant to be the big bad of this film, and Alice is like, she's not even breaking a sweat and she's beating him.
See, that's like, with her confliction happens once he's been stabbed, because then she's like, oh, I know who you are now, and it's like, yeah, I thought that was kind of established. You had some sort of connection.
Yeah.
But again, it should have been the case of she should have been on the back foot the whole time.
Yeah.
It should have been her, and you should have been like, oh shit, she's going to get destroyed by Nemesis, this big creature. And then maybe at the end, when he's over the top, basically like
he remembers,
and she clocks on. Basically, like why, like the Martha moment you would get from Batman v Superman. Like, why did you say Martha?
Yeah,
that kind of moment, like
Martha.
Yeah, like something like that would be more impactful. Well, again, probably the limitations of Nemesis, that she had to basically dance around him to make him, and he's like, I can't do this.
She had to do all the work.
And she's I don't know. I think she probably gets better, but she's not great at the whole action bit yet. I don't think she looks very
Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, she doesn't look natural at it yet.
Yeah,
she looks kind of stiff and amateurish. Obviously, like, she gets better.
I guess two movies in.
It was kind of like. I wrote embarrassing a few times.
Embarrassment. This is an embarrassment.
I wrote Nemesis friend. Nemesis dead.
Yeah.
So she kind of beats him,
Yeah.
and then they all kind of get up and try and escape and start killing the motorcycle guys again.
Breaking necks.
Nemesis changes sides. He's Nemesis' friend now.
Yeah.
He's got his Gatling gun.
Which is so fucking stupid as a Resident Evil fan. That's like, no, don't make Nemesis. Nemesis is not good. Nemesis isn't got any sort of humanity to him. Nemesis is a bioweapon that's there to kill.
I mean, his name's literally Nemesis.
You know what Nemesis means. Anyway, see when they shoot he shoots the helicopter, his rocket launcher, and the helicopter comes down on top of him, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But then a bit of the helicopter comes off and just fucking smacks Alice right in the face, and I couldn't stop laughing at that because it was like poing.
That was like slapstick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I was like, haha, that guy is so dead.
Oh, you probably think of the guy kicked out the helicopter, the guy.
Yeah,
Mate,
mate,
so he's trying to get Alice to come with him, and it's like, all the things you can be, we could develop you and stuff like that.
that was an like I thought that was a cool way to kill him.
Yeah.
He fell out the helicopter and you heard his ankle or something break, and I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's getting his comeuppance. Well done. Good. Very fun part of the film.
Yeah, but good.
The German accent guy, that was fine, but like that whole bit was just, if that's the climax of the film,
Underwhelming.
bleh, is whatever.
Okay, it was just to lead into another sequel where, like, again, thankfully they didn't pull that kind of stupid or amnesia shit again.
They tried.
But they do something I think was a lot worse.
What's that actor's name again? He played Jorah.
Ian Glenn.
He plays a creepy bastard in a lot of stuff he's in. Doesn't he?
He's a good actor though.
He is a good actor, but he
Yeah.
plays like a mad, just like a creep. He's got a creepy vibe about him.
Got
Anyway.
sliminess to him, yeah.
But see when like they get up in the helicopter and the nuclear explosion happens.
Yeah.
Do you know where there was a better nuclear explosion? Modern Warfare 2, I think it is.
Hiroshima.
Fuck. Probably Hamish.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one though.
Jesus.
It looked terrible. Like that CGI, awful. Why don't you just have a white flash and then smoke or something
and
like
then
that?
they're like, hold on, and then the helicopter crashes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then they leave her behind.
Aye.
Oh no, she gets stabbed, impaled.
I know, but like they leave her
Yeah, she gets recovered by
umbrella
people.
but Jill and that have
Put her in a
just-
back to tank.
Well, you got to admit,
Yeah, I saw the back to I was like,
Yeah.
why is she? They that just love stripping her off and putting her in water.
Yeah.
Like, that's,
well, I mean, like, you're talking about Jill, the lassie that sent a poor woman to her death. Of course, they're going to like,
Aye.
she's done.
how many people? She sent a lot of people to their deaths in
Yeah.
that film. She was like,
Especially after
Oh.
that nuclear explosion as well.
Aye, yeah, true.
I love how
It's Jill's fault.
Alien vs Predator came out like what 3 years later, and
Yeah.
it's like the pretty much the same fucking plot.
Yeah, it is like running away from a nuke under Antarctica.
Yeah, something.
Oh, was it
no,
Alaska?
I'm maybe thinking of Requiem, where like that's in a wee town in America.
Oh no, sorry, right, that's Requiem. Yeah,
Yeah, also a terrible film.
Oh, yeah,
We're
that's
not
right.
doing those films.
I do
Uh,
not remember those movies because the first time I went and seen it, I was drunk off my face in absinthe, and I can't remember it.
Nice.
That's the only
I was
drug you
insane.
get on absinthe.
Aye. I was like, was it a dragon? I can't remember. But when I rewatched it ages, I was like, oh, I would have hated this movie. I watched this in the cinema and remembered.
Oh, it's a terrible film. Anyway, let's talk about this terrible film. The media thing at the end where it showed that the media was like, oh, there's these things that are happening, and there's the
It's been a leaked video.
leaked
and
video, and then
And then
it
it goes around.
turns.
It's like, oh, it was a hoax video and stuff like that. Yeah.
knowing me and my politics, I was like, that fucking happens in real life. Like that kind of.
I think that
Corporate
was a
power.
satire of that. You know.
But like that, I think a lot of that in Resident Evil gets missed out. The corporate satire, where this corporation thinks they can just do whatever the fuck they want,
Yeah.
and it does because there's no comeuppance to them.
yeah,
They
get
just
to do
destroy
it.
the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think later on in the other movies, you get to see more and more of how ridiculous they can get away with. And like, what are you going to do? What the
Yeah.
fuck are you going to do? Like, the ending of this, I felt was very much like, very deflated, and you're kind of back to square one again. Apart from it's like, well, Alice is got psychic powers now.
Yeah, that.
And I was like-
scene was weird.
Because, like, again, I've played a lot of Resident Evil games and seen a lot of Resident Evil media and read some of the comics. Not once did they go psychic powers.
Mm.
Aye.
So when to have that happen, like the franchise that you like, you're like, you've really just like, instead of maybe building this over a couple of movies, you kind of blew your load in the first one by like introducing Raccoon City at the end of the movie. And this one, you're like, oh, now she's good. You blew your load with Nemesis. who could have been an intimidating character.
Yeah,
and you went, them. And she's got psychic powers. I went, wait, what? How the fuck has that got to do with viruses?
That pen scene kind of creeped me out, and mostly because I was like, what's the point in it?
Was she?
Like, it's for writing on paper.
She
pen. And
she swings it round and stops it right before his eye.
Yeah.
No, not that bit. Just even before that, where she's like looking at something. And he's like, "Oh, you're interested in the pen?"
Oh, she thinks she's brain dead. I think maybe.
That's like that.
That's him. Like he's like trying to train a puppy because he thinks that she's
done
again. Like
it annoyed me, and I think it was mostly because of how dumb that whole wee bit was. Why would you? She wasn't even looking at the pen. He's explaining, pen, and I'm like,
pen pals, they could have been.
Oh, I don't know.
Gets her to try like writing, doesn't he?
My last two notes are very weird scene and what is this ending?
Yeah,
like he lets her go.
Operation, and then her eyes go beep beep beep. Yeah, and it's so like now she's recording.
If she kind of fights her way out, and then you find out Jill Valentine and the guy from the mummy,
really
they are alive. So that's when you realise, so they did just leave her to die.
Well, no, she was dead, I think. She was dead, so they're like, we better get the fuck out of here. But then when they found out that she was maybe alive, that they kind of banded together to get her out. Get you out of this place.
No explanation about it. Just,
no explanation.
Oh, we're back.
How easily were all those guys tricked by a black car and a uniform?
Yeah, and I think he says something like clearance level 6. Or something like that.
Yeah,
and the guy's like, "Oh, sorry." And it's like, that's all you need to say.
That's all you need to say to this big umbrella corporation that covered up a nuclear fucking explosion. Yeah, level 6, mate.
Level 6, bud.
Yeah, so they start driving out, and then she's about to leave the wee, because obviously they need to wait for the wee barrier to go up. Normally they've just broken her out; they can't just drive away. And then that's when Ian Glenn says, "Let her go."
Let her go.
So they're obviously building up to something else.
Yeah.
And you find this with films a lot, where if they know that they're going to make another one, or they're planning on making another one, the previous one's just so lackluster because it is just the run up to it. They forget to make it a good film on its own.
So this film was a mess.
And I guarantee you, when we watch the third one, we'll still be like, "Well, that fucking wasn't worth it either."
So, would you believe, Hugh, that this is the worst rated Resident Evil movie?
Yeah, me and Hamish had a look on Plex, and it has 0.9 stars out of 5.
Yeah, 19% Rotten Tomatoes, or tomatoes if you're American.
I hope this is the worst one.
Yeah,
because I can't watch any more if it gets worse.
No.
This one was genuinely
genuinely terrible.
I wrote one note because I just didn't know what else to say about it. I was like, I don't want to bash it too much, but I was like, I was hanging on by a thread watching this. Like, can I just call in sick to the podcast next week, so I don't need to watch this?
Jill Valentine got you through, mate.
Yeah.
Nah, I was really more of a Alice. Yeah. And Mila Jovovich is nicer than that other one.
They've got these films like a bell curve, I think. So they start low, get really good in the middle, and then I think they get worse as they tail off.
Yeah.
Like women.
For fuck's sake.
Leave it in, man.
Yeah.
Leave it in.
So
let him burn on his statements.
So I think when
I mean women's bodies, not their ages. That's weird.
I like how you had to
clarify
context
that.
I don't think you guys got one.
Cut that bit out though.
So movie budget was 45 million and it made 129 million worldwide.
That's ridiculous, man. For
Right,
such
isn't
a
it?
Crap film.
And again, it didn't get any more money after that movie.
After they got his money.
After they got my money, they got none of my money.
Hey,
and when it came to the movies, I kind of was stung by that, and I didn't want to watch any more, Afterlife or Extinction or all the other ones. In the cinema when they came out, I was like, nah.
Came with.
I didn't.
I thought. I can't remember. I know that there was certain other people there, but I can't remember if you were.
I was not. No, because again, if you said you want to go and see a Resident Evil movie, I'd have been like, "Fuck no."
Sure, it was for someone's birthday. Oh, actually, you couldn't have been there.
See, the thing is, they were going to call this Resident Evil Nemesis, but then Star Trek Nemesis came out, which didn't do well at all. So they thought, we'll call it Apocalypse then. I don't know if it was a kind of a superstitious thing like that film did badly, so we can't call it the same thing, or we don't want to be associated by it. Maybe
was Resident Evil 4 at this point?
Yes, I think it was 2004.
Daughter angle was brought into it.
I think that was always an intention because they were in the first movie, the wee girl was there as the
Red Queen.
So
I recognised that fucking voice, and I was like,
"You're all going to die
PS1
now."
Creator.
You're like, "Hey."
I love that. We should have called the that's what we should have called it. PS1 Greta.
Nah, we want to call them what people, so that people actually know what the fuck we're talking about, because it's very difficult to tell.
No one knows what we're talking about. Also, this podcast was quite incoherent because we never really summarised the plot that much, because the plot
There is
was
no plot.
fucking awful.
Yeah, the plot's terrible.
2005 Resi 4 came out, but had been told it was coming, so it may have been got delayed. And it was the first ever and only release of Resident Evil 4 on GameCube.
Yeah, exclusive to the GameCube.
And all the fridges that can play it.
With my phone, your phone. I have an N-Gage in it. Anyway, I'll talk about that later.
Anyway, so what would you give this rating out of 10? Or out of 10 hams, I think the last time we said, Hamish?
I mean, I was going to say 3, but that feels generous.
Yeah.
Like 2 hams, maybe. Like maybe like, yeah, 2 hams. I'm giving it 2 hams.
Okay. Hugh?
I'm getting 1, man.
You give him 1?
Like,
wow, really?
I don't think there's any... Well, no, that's a lie. There's Jill Valentine. It's a solid 4 hams in.
Solid 4.
That's quite... So, Jill Valentine's worth 3 hams on her own.
Oh, 100%.
I would probably rate it about 3. I'd say it was pretty bad.
3 what though?
3 ham hocks.
I'm making this a thing.
3 pork sausages. Pacing wise, it was... Again, that was fine, but it was the direction, the camera work, the
Sound.
acting, the sound, the stunts.
All those things that, make a movie.
They were all cheaply done, and the only things that I liked were stuff like the references to Resident Evil 3, the little homages to like the way Jill was walking and stuff, the animation, the wee bits like that. They actually tried a wee bit more in this movie to introduce Resident Evil characters. But the problem is there that Alice basically, she kind of like she John Cena'd the place. She came in and was basically, this is my movie, it's all about me. Look at all the cool stuff I can do. With all the other characters that you want to see do cool stuff, go, wow, how cool is this cool character? So she basically putchied up the place.
So you mean she rocked it? That's what the Rock does, isn't it?
She was self-government. Do you not think that
that bit like the Scorpion?
the guy from The Mummy was meant to be sort of Chris Redfield?
Yeah, he was playing like
Carlos
was his name in the movie, and I thought it was going to be Carlos from Resident Evil 3, but it got it was nothing to do with him.
No, there's a wee Easter egg in it. I think it was in this one of like he's dead.
Oh, Leon Kennedy?
Yeah. Is it Leon?
Yeah, Leon Kennedy.
One of them anyway, but then they are in the 4th one apparently. So
Leon's in the 4th one?
I don't think Leon's in any movie.
It was Chris then. Must
be Chris Redfield then. Chris is in the movies, but Leon's
punching idiot.
There's like a newspaper
punching
clipping or
boulders,
something like that. It says he's dead.
Yeah.
And then in the 4th one he shows up. So I don't know if they just went, oh, we forgot about that.
Yeah.
Or
Whoops. Chris, I thought you were dead. That paper said, could have said that.
It's so like, I know this is old news, but it's so weird that like they had like really good source material that was popular with fans, and then they decided to pretty much fanfic it.
Yes. Yeah, what you said.
Oh, yeah. All right, man. Okay. I agree. Aye, it is what it is. I don't know why we did. Why did we do this?
I think it's just nice to do some sort of movie reviews and on media, which is gaming as well.
No,
is that loosely based, tied to gaming? Yeah,
I kind of was interested in going like, how different is Resident Evil from this? Like, am I going to be able to play Resident Evil like remakes 1, 2, and 3 and go, all right, cool, this was a way better decision than watching these films?
I think so.
Probably will. I think I bought. Do you know what? I think I've got them all because I got drunk one night and I went on the Xbox store and bought them all.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Tom, I'm going to play these.
And then you never did.
I've never loaded them up.
You realise
because you're a coward. Because you're a goddamn coward.
Guys, I don't like being scared.
Boo! See? Terrified.
I don't have much else to say. There's not anything to say about this.
I don't think that's it. Right. I don't think there's anything left to say. Pucci will be back in the next movie to ruin Itchy and Scratchy. So that's a goodbye from Hugh.
Goodbye, everybody. Don't listen in. Hamish says.
It's goodbye from me, Dom, and a goodbye from Hamish.
Bye, everyone. You say this every fucking time, Hugh. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Oh, good.
May your residents always be evil.
And many more.
See, that was better.
Bye, everyone. We should order dinner and watch that podcast that we did when Hamish was really drunk.